Hey everyone, welcome to Mario Kart Monday. The only Mario Kart stream that takes place on a Monday.
The only one.
It's the only one.
No other Mario Kart streams are allowed today.
We monopolized it. We called Nintendo, we called Reggie Fils-Aimé, and we smacked our hand down on his proverbial desk and said, "Hey, you ban all those other streams. We're the only Mario Kart 8 game in town." And he said, "Streams, let me take you on a journey where streams are only allowed to be purveyed by master questers. Whether it's on the go or at home, you will always be watching the master questers." I said, "Thank you for the endorsement, Reggie. That was really nice of you." And then
it's like a Nintendo Direct
Yeah.
here.
I mean, if you don't feel that way, you're not a true fan of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the chat, Greta.
Hey, Greta.
You ready to race cars? Or maybe bikes? Or a moped if you really want? Ready to play the piano? Oh. Let's we'll take this match to at least pretend like we are gonna do a Mario Kart stream without any debauchery involved.
Not sure how that missed me, but I'm not complaining. Oh,
Not sure how that hit you.
Didn't miss me that time.
Oh boy,
Nothing missed me that time.
You're getting bullied.
You're being mean to
You're
me.
being so mean to you. Reggie, you said this wouldn't happen anymore. You said that you'd help us win every Mario Kart match here on out. I want to renegotiate our contract.
Yeah.
That's swell. I'm glad that your Switch is okay, Greta.
Oh yeah, me too. I was worried when we were playing Splatoon.
I was worried that you weren't going to play for us for a while. That broke my little tiny black heart. You're doing great. You're doing so good.
Yeah.
You suck. You're terrible at the video game.
No.
I can't believe I have faith in you. You've let me down for the last time, Chelsea.
Oh.
Oh my god. There you that instant karmic retribution. Oh, and then even more karmic retribution. Oh, you sent all his shells to hell.
Shell
oh
hell.
my man, shell hell. Chell sent the shell to hell. Well, well, well. This is our new bit. We're trying a new thing on this stream.
Stuff.
We're gonna rhyme on this stream, and we're gonna talk about dream.
Daddy?
Ning. Or daddy. They included... They put...
Wow.
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 Oh my god, dude. I cry for you. You were in first place,
I know.
Chelsea, and now you're in first place plus 10, so... That can't be you can't be feeling good about that one. At least you beat fucking Brad. Brad's the worst.
Yeah, fuck Brad.
I mean, it's actually impressive that he can race since he's just a golden man. Which one are you
Greta's
gonna
here.
pick? You're gonna pick Moo Moo Meadow. Oh my god.
I like Moo Moo Meadow. It has fun sound. It has fun musical
Oh, it's
sound.
fun sounds.
Notes.
Yeah, you know who else likes Moo Moo Meadow, Chelsea? Nobody.
It's a lot of question marks.
A lot of opportunities for Baby Park.
Oh no. That
What?
one also has good sound.
Ooh, yay! I love the good sounds it makes.
Fred.
Booty Blast.
So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about, I promised
Ugh.
the viewers at home we would talk about sexy tropes and fanfics.
Oh boy.
Your favorite sexy times in your favorite fanfics.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, we've just set a precedent about Mario Kart Monday.
It started out normal, just playing Mario Kart every Monday, but now it's me half paying attention to playing Mario Kart while we discuss weird things on the internet.
Hey man,
I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation.
that's Mario Kart. Just sometimes it brings it out in you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're the one playing, but you're also the one who like reads the fanfic, so you're gonna have to take the reins on this discussion.
Okay. Oh, no, Link!
Wow, that was pretty funny. It's kind of great that you can land on those little outcroppings and have nowhere to go. You can tell that the game designers of this game really had a sense of fucking humor.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you want to know?
What are the best? What are the best tropes? What are the best sexy tropes in fanfics? What are the hottest tropes that are getting talked about all over the net? And by hottest, I mean HAWTEST, hottest. Is that still a relevant, like, slang, or am I, like, out of it and dated?
I think you're a little dated.
Alright, I'm sorry.
I don't think anyone uses that anymore.
Well, I was on the net 10 years ago, High Red Arrow XX.
Hi, Red Arrow.
Okay, then.
I mean, I can start off with a trope that it's not necessarily sexy,
Okay.
but it is a favorite of mine.
What's your favorite? Well, just say it. Don't.
Soulmate AUs. It's a little...
Soulmate AUs?
It's very sappy, but it warms my heart.
Okay, alternate
And there are a lot of different kinds of soulmate AUs, which is kind of interesting. And a lot of people, because it's become kind of a little cliche and a bit of a trope, a lot of people have been trying to like think of weird ways you could get around it or something.
Now, so I mean, I'm all for that fucking petition. I would change it to that in 1/2 of 1 second.
Oh.
Okay,
well,
so for the folks at home, for those the uninitiated, maybe you should go into detail about what an AU is and what a soulmate AU even means, because I understand AU to mean alternate universe.
Yes.
So, how is something a soulmate alternate universe?
That means it takes place in an alternate universe where soulmates is like a prevalent thing, and there are different types. The most common one, I think, is a universe where everyone has a soulmate, and you have some sort of identifying mark, sort of like a tattoo, that is indicative of who your soulmate is.
So does like your soulmate have the same tattoo, or
it depends on the fic. I think one of the more common ones is you have their name.
Oh, okay.
But there are also ones where like you have the same symbol or picture or something that like is symbolic of them, that sort of thing. There are also fun ones where it's like if you write something on your arm with a marker, that it shows up on their arm, that sort of thing.
Ah.
There are a lot of cute ones with that one, and a lot of funny ones. I remember reading a Haikyuu one where Hinata and Kageyama are pretty much just insulting each other with their... Oh, are you banning Greta?
Yeah, I'm banning Greta.
Oops. Whoops. It's not in a good start.
Sorry, go on with your, I got distracted. You were talking about writing something on your arm and it appears on your soulmate AU's arm?
Yeah. There's like that kind of thing. There's ones where the first thing your soulmate will say to you is written on somewhere on your body. There are sad ones where it's the last thing your soulmate will say to you is written on your body, so you don't know until it's like they die or the last time you see them or something.
That's not helpful.
No. There are a lot of ones that sort of try to, oh, I was just gonna use that. Subvert tropes. Like, for instance, the one where the first thing your soulmate will say to you is on you. And they have one of the characters be, like, mute or deaf.
Yeah.
So it's like the one person thinks they don't have a soulmate because they don't have anything written, but then they meet the person and they get to know them and they, like, really, they fall in love with them first, and then they realize, oh, it's because of that. And they are soulmates. That sort of thing.
What if, like, the thing written on your arm is just really terrible?
Yeah, there are ones like that too. Like I said, a lot of people try to sort of subvert some of the tropes. I've read some where it's like something is written that sounds terrible, but then when it actually happens, it makes more sense.
It makes sense in context.
Yeah. But they, like, grow up thinking, oh, my soulmate's gonna freaking hate me.
Or maybe, like, oh, my soulmate is a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. There are definitely fics like that. It's pretty funny.
Like, maybe, like, if your soulmate, like, for example, the thing on your arm is like, I love murder.
Yeah.
But then it turns out your soulmate's just a real big fan of the Call of Duty franchise or something.
Yeah. Ah!
Well, that's cute. Is there anything, so, like, having stuff written on you, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Or, like, a birthmark on you? Is there, like, anything other than, like, having body markings? Like...
Yeah, there's, like, that's the most prevalent one. But there's also, like, sort of a telepathy sort of thing. There's an interesting one I read where it was, are you familiar with the Red String of Fate?
No, it sounds like something I don't know about. Is that like Hercules?
No, it's actually more common in Asian cultures. The idea is that two soulmates would have, it's like a folklore thing. Two soulmates have a red string tied to one of, like, their pinky or something.
Oh, okay.
Between them.
Yeah.
And the AU was basically like people who they call them soulmates in the universe, but they're not completely soulmates. They're just sort of called that. It's more people who, like, have great influence on your life and vice versa.
Yeah.
And the color of the thread distinguishes, like, red is romantic, blue is like a mentorship, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Greta, you must have a lot of soulmates.
That sort of thing. Oh, another common one is that you see in black and white until you lock eyes with your soulmate, and then you see color.
Oh.
That's a common one.
What if, like, here's a good one. So, what if your soulmate has, like, a normal voice, just their typical normal voice, and everyone who's, like, not your soulmate sounds like Gilbert Gottfried?
I'd read that pic.
Yeah.
But how would you know to distinguish?
Also, what if your soulmate was Gilbert Gottfried? Oh no!
A true romantic tragedy.
Yeah, that sounds like a real cute one. Like, what's a good example of this fic? Like, have you read a fanfic that uses this to great effect?
The color one?
Well, no,
Or
any what is your favorite soulmate AU fanfiction?
Oh.
Or, like, one of your favorites, doesn't have to be your favorite one.
Well, the Threads one I was talking about is a Death Note fic.
No, boy. I don't know where this one's going.
What?
It's obviously gonna be Ryuk and L.
Yeah, obviously. There was this really good Haikyuu one with Hinata and Kageyama. And it was sort of the tattoo one.
Yeah.
Only it was, Hinata had a symbol that sort of had to be interpreted, and most people just have, like, names or something.
Yeah.
So he was like, why is it different? And, the interpretation, he, like, had to go to a doctor to get it interpreted.
Right.
And
So
the
there's
translation was, like, the king of the court, but in terms of, like, a court, like, you know, royal court.
right. Like how king of the court would normally be interpreted.
Right. But then, like, obviously, that's his nickname.
Right, obviously, Kageyama isn't actually royalty. Or maybe he is. I mean, Haikyuu's not over yet.
Yeah, you never know.
We don't know if he's, like, secretly got a distant relative who's a baron. Maybe he's fucking related to a character from Ouran or something.
Yeah,
I'd read that fic.
me too.
Prince Kageyama. And Princess Hinata. I thought for a minute when I first started watching Haikyuu that the twist was going to be that Hinata was a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just because, like, his voice actor has, like, a very high-pitched voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such a little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I would definitely read a fucking, you know, True Love. What the fuck is the thing you were talking about called?
Soulmate?
Soulmate AU, where Nicolas Cage had to find his soulmate, which is a national treasure.
He didn't even need to steal the Declaration of Independence. It was just tattooed on his body.
Yeah, it's just, he just looks at his body and it's a picture of the Illuminatis. And he's like, oh, this reminds me of the dollar bill. It's my you're my national treasure, he says on his Valentine's Day card.
I think I've seen that Valentine's card. I know, there are a lot of, like, really cute, sort of meet cute soulmate AUs. And there are also longer more plotty ones.
Yo, here's a good
But
one.
for the most part, it's more, the trope is more for, like, smaller fics.
I got a good one. I got a good premise.
Uh-huh.
It takes place in Legend of Zelda universe.
Uh-huh.
Link looks on his hand, and he sees the Triforce, and he's like, that must be my soulmate thing. And then he sees on Ganon's hand also the Triforce. And then he's like, oh shit, Ganon's my soulmate. And so they try and make it work, but it turns out it was just the Triforce all along. Oh. Alright, do you have any other good Soulmate AU stuff, or should we move on to your next favorite romantic / sexy trope?
I mean, there are a lot of different soulmate AUs, and like I said, a lot of, I think the best fics are the ones that actually subvert the tropes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I can't off the top of my head right now recommend right now because I'm concentrating.
Yeah.
But if anyone's interested, I can later. I've read a lot of them. But we can
move on?
Yeah.
Alright, trope number 2. Next trope.
Oh boy. Okay. So, there's one trope that is quite popular. I do like this trope, but it depends on how it's done.
Is it sexy?
It can be.
Alright.
It's typically referred to as Omegaverse, or it's tagged as like Alpha, Beta, Omega Dynamics. It's a little weird. Basically, the premise, and it can vary between universes, but the basic premise is that people sort of have, I guess you would call it like a secondary gender or dynamic. So in addition to their biological, like, I'm a man or a woman or whatever, they are also an alpha, beta, or omega. And it has to do mainly with, like, I guess, like, power dynamics usually in society. And it depends on the writer, how they use it. Some writers definitely just use it for porn and to distinguish very easily who is quote unquote on top. But other writers actually have done some interesting things with it in terms of like analyzing gender equality and power dynamics in society, but using that as sort of like taking a character that is in our society male and maybe like white or whatever, and would sort of be, you know, more towards the top of the food chain, and putting them in a situation where they're on sort of a lower end of the spectrum, and sort of playing with that in how they interact with others and that sort of thing, you know? I think a lot of people actually use it as a way to take like a slash pairing and make, because a lot of slash fans are female, so I think Alpha, Beta, Omega does give them the opportunity to sort of relate more to one or more of the characters.
I'm gonna stop you for one quick second.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to maybe the folks at home what, in case they don't know, what a slash fan or slash pairing is?
Gay.
Okay.
Yeah, a slash fic means a gay pairing. Generally, slash refers to male and male pairings. It can refer to female pairings, though. Sometimes they distinguish it by saying femme slash, but not always. So it can also refer to lesbians.
Right.
But anyway, I do think Omegaverse does sort of allow female audiences to relate to a male character, because it's hard to sort of think and play sometimes. I'd probably be more coherent if I was just talking. One of the recurring themes in Omegaverse is that, like I said, a character who usually society would like respect and whatnot will go through similar obstacles that a woman might go through, like being considered the weaker sex or only good for having kids or something.
Or like basically like not given like the opportunity to do what is traditionally thought of as more masculine, like lead or like be in charge. Right,
exactly. I remember reading a really good Yuri on Ice one that was sort of like a magical fairy tale sort of AU thing, where Yuri was an Omega, and
okay, well, here's a good question that I genuinely want to know. I can figure out what like alpha and beta refers to, but I don't. Is Omega better or worse than alpha?
Worse. Omega's like the lowest on the food chain, and also
Hey, Reaction Studios 1. Thanks for joining us at this very opportune time at this discussion we're having.
The Omegas are usually the characters who are quote-unquote on the bottom.
Like the bottom of the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically in Omegaverse, the main pairing is an alpha and an omega.
Oh, then why even have a beta?
Betas are usually just the like normal people, and then alphas are considered like the really high class, physically strong, good for leadership types.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then omegas are considered more like homemakers and weaker and stuff. And again, it varies. This is very general. There are a lot of different interpretations of this trope.
Oh, hell yeah, Baby Park. Yeah. Now, you're, like, describing this sort of in terms of, like, sort of, like, to equate it to, I guess, like, gender relations and, also, I guess, like, other sort of, like, relations, like race relations, like, this, that, and the other thing. So, like, does, in these AUs, in Omegaverse, are these, like...
yeah, you can join Reaction Studios. Are we friends on Switch?
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know.
If we're not, give me your code, either in chat or in whispers.
Are these, like, Omegaverse things, like, in universe more social constructs, or what?
In universe, again, it sort of depends on the universe, but it is like a biological thing, but also made often worse by social things. Like a lot of Omegaverse, which with the example I was about to say, is about the Omega character sort of defying those expectations. In the fic I was about to talk about, Yuri is in Omega, and in that universe, in his kingdom, Omegas are forbidden from practicing combat magic because it's thought that they'll get hurt and they're not suited for that sort of thing. But he really likes doing it, so he like enters a tournament in disguise and to prove that, and like the winner is granted a boon from the king, so he's gonna ask to them to get rid of that law. And there's it's a really good fic, and there like is way more to the plot than that, but that's one of the big things. I can never make that turn. Actually, my favorite Omegaverse fic is another Death Note fic. It's actually my favorite Death Note fic too. It's called Primitive Liars, and that one maybe has one of the best sort of analyses of the trope, because it is another one that sort of uses it as a way to look at gender roles and such, and different sexualities, sort of. I don't know if you'd call it an analogy, but it uses the Omegaverse to sort of as a parallel to some real life issues as well. But it's very well written, and it's sort of a good both analysis of the trope, but also does some things to subvert it. Because like, as much as I like the trope, but it definitely, there are, like I said, different people write it different ways, and there are definitely writers who use it only as a way to like fetishize or feminize a character, which I don't like. Because I think the trope does have potential when, like I said, some authors use it in a way, but a lot of them are just like for porn.
Reaction Studios has given us his friend's code.
Cool.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because as a denizen of the internet, when people talk about
that's the wrong thing.
Alpha and beta, it's usually like shithead meninists.
Yeah.
So
search for his friend code. Can you read it to me?
Yeah. 3329 2751 1512.
Or last ones?
1512. So I'm glad that it's not strictly that.
Yeah.
Although it sounds like some of the more sexier ones might actually just be that.
Yeah, there are definitely fics that are like just what's called PWP.
Chelsea, you picked Baby Park.
Oh no! It just picked it for me because it took too long.
Good choice, Chelsea.
Oh. Yeah, it's the internet.
Hey, C. Dewey.
And fanfiction is basically the same as like fan art or doujinshi, where it's like there are plenty that are for plot and character development and like are genuinely well written stories of quality that are really good, but there are also ones that are just boring.
Sure.
Those are what we like to refer as PWP, which stands for porn without plot, or plot what plot.
Greta bailed on this match.
Yeah.
So, just to backpedal a little bit, you said like one of your favorite fics is a Death Note fic.
Yeah.
Using this. So like, can you give us like a little bit of how the Death Note fic uses this trope to make it, to sort of tell its story?
Sure. Oh, hey, second place.
Yay.
So the premise of the fic is that, Light is like canonically pretty misogynistic.
Kind of just a huge piece of shit.
Basically. And in this Omegaverse fic, when he's like 16, he presents as an Omega. Which again is like the lowest on the food chain.
Right.
But it happens when he's alone, so he basically covers it up and doesn't tell anyone and uses drugs and stuff to, like, prescription. Well, it's like shady. He doesn't get it illegal. He gets them illegally, but he gets these like drugs to hide the fact that he's an Omega. And a big part of the story is kind of his sort of inner self-loathing and inner misogyny, if you want to call it that. Sure. And sort of coming to terms with the fact that being an Omega doesn't innately make him less, even though everyone says it does. And there are lots of other things with the other characters and their dynamics. Like, they made... And me just listening to this probably makes it sound like they're just trying to be, like, diverse or something, but the way it's written is well done. But, like, it deals with other gender issues. Like, Nier is trans and Mello is
Nier
gender fluid.
Trans man or trans woman?
Trans man.
Gotcha.
But it, like, sort of... It does a good job of sort of looking at the ramifications of that sort of universe. And what it would do to a character like Light to be, like, innately on the bottom of the food chain like that.
So does then, like, your Omega in this fanfic,
yeah,
would your sort of like Greek alphabet rating supersede your like gender
in terms of like society? Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like a big, like kind of one of my favorite parts of the fic, even though it's kind of heartbreaking, is when eventually people do find out. And one of the things in the fic is like Matsuda is also an Omega. And, you know, he gets treated basically the same as in canon. But
Yeah.
but kind of, crap.
Wowzers! Holy fucking guacamole!
But almost kind of worse because people think it's justified.
Yeah.
So when people do find out and they're like, why didn't you tell us? He like basically is like, what? So you can treat me like the way you treat Matsuda? And it was just, like kind of like, and then people were like, oh shit. Like, I'm probably not explaining it super great, but
I mean, I get it. I think you're explaining it just fine for me, anyway.
But it's called Primitive Liars. It's by, I don't know how he or she pronounces their name, but it's like Neela X Appeal. They were actually one of my favorite Death Note writers back when Death Note was still going. And then, like all Death Note writers, they disappeared off the face of the earth.
They got right in the Death Note.
Yeah. Like, I swear, almost all Death Note fics just ended, like, around when the series ended.
Like, saw all those fucking people writing about him being an Omega, and he was like, fuck that, you're dead.
But, he/she suddenly showed up again a couple years ago, and I was very happy. And then they were writing Primitive Liars, which is quite good. It's actually the most popular Death Note fic on AO3 right now.
Oh, fuck. Well, congratulations to something appeal. Greta Gerda in the chat, I don't know if you know this person, asks, what would your favorite AU fic be?
That is a very wide range, Greta. Are you talking about what my favorite type of AU is, or my favorite AU fic in general? Because there are a lot of different AUs. That's like saying, what is your favorite genre?
What's your favorite genre of pasta dish?
Yeah. There's so many different AUs. There are like Mafia AU, Superhero AU, Hogwarts AU.
So like AUs can just pretty much be anything
Yeah.
that like sort of encompasses a world.
Mm-hmm.
Mafia AU, does that mean everyone in the world's in the Mafia,
No.
or just the main characters
Just
are
the
in the
main
Mafia?
characters. Nah, it just means the main characters.
So an AU really just means that the main characters are encapsulated in this theme.
Usually. But like I said, there's some AUs that do mean the world of.
Sure. Great one.
Ah. Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, Chelsea.
Freaking Rainbow Road.
If you fell off again, I would have. Chelsea, you freaking Omega. All right. What else? What else we got? What other good tropes?
Well, I guess I haven't really, like, I sort of talked about my favorite things about the Omega trope, but there are also things in it that are...
All right. You sort of
Not
talked
great.
about when it's just like used to
Yeah.
take a character and make them like submissive,
Yeah.
and you don't much care for that. What else about Omegaverse?
Well, so a big part of Omegaverse is sort of the... There's often a lot of, like, dominance and submission in the dynamic. A big part of Omegaverse that I probably should have mentioned, because it's in pretty much every verse, is the original, I think, idea for it is from, like, werewolves or something.
Where? Oh, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. That said, there are Omega fics where the characters are actually werewolves, but a lot of them aren't. They're just, human with secondary genders. But a big part that is in most Omega fics is what am I trying to say? Sorry. So Omegaverse also gives the opportunity for your gay pairing to have kids.
So basically what you're saying to me now, and I didn't realize this was part of it, is that Omegas, regardless of gender, have wombs?
Yeah. Not always, but yeah. A lot of times.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Also, they go into heat.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
This is the weirder parts of this verse.
Here's the steamy scoop, ladies and gentlemen. So...
And this is where a lot of the PWP comes in.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of times it's like, oh, this character goes into heat. And they just gotta have that sexy times.
So, basically, in this kind of fic, maybe, like, Phoenix will be in court against Von Karma.
Yeah.
And, like, halfway through the proceedings...
Wait, which Von Karma? Francisca?
I mean, they're both gonna be alphas. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Is gonna, like, be halfway through the proceedings and then be like, fuck, and then just rub his butt all over their junk and be like, I gotta bang. You gotta pork me, Von Karma, fuck. I gotta get that German D in me. I gotta get that fucking Krautwurst inside my business.
Oh no.
So there it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, the main problem with it, and a lot of authors go out of their way to say, like, make it very clear that it's not the case in their fic, but it does bring up a question of, like, dubious consent sometimes.
Right. Because if you're in heat, is it consent?
Yeah, which I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of times the writers will be like, they're already in a relationship, they talked about it ahead of time, they knew, like, their heat was coming up, and they planned ahead, and they're just gonna have sexy time now, like a married couple, or dating whatever couple would. Oh, this is mirrored. Why?
I just want to throw this out here. Greta says, now that's what I call presenting evidence.
Man, they almost never have mirrored courses in online.
Yeah.
This is throwing me off.
It's fucking you up. So, okay, hey, actually this brings up a question I thought of. So, if you're like a lady, but you're an alpha, since dudes can get pregnant, does that mean ladies can get dudes pregnant?
Yes.
That's just swell. Hey, that's great.
Yeah, sometimes the author will just sort of skim over the actual, like, biology of it, and sometimes they actually, either in the fic or in the author's notes, will very much go into, like, how they would imagine this to work.
It's like 100 terrible fics just popped in my head all at once. My mind is swimming with the foulest of possibilities.
Oh, why, Link? I did not tell you to turn that way. Too fast. Bullet build a victory!
Do it!
Ah! It's annoying when it does. It stops right in front of a corner. Uh-oh. Great. Great. Thanks. Thanks, game.
So, are you ready to talk about sexy fanfics?
Sup, Jaboy knows. What does Jaboy know?
He's about to know a lot more about dudes getting pregnant.
And Impreg has always kind of squicked me out.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is a good sort of transition. Let's just jump straight into Mpreg. All right. Hit me with your best shot. Tell me why you think Mpreg is squicky.
Well, to be honest, it's more that just pregnancy in general squicks me out.
All right. Like, what about it squicks you out?
Because, I don't know, it's just... Ugh.
Well, you gotta understand, for those of us who don't read a ton of fanfics...
No, I mean, like, in real life, too.
Oh, okay, just actual pregnancy
Yeah.
squicks you out. Okay, sure.
Sounds awful.
Well, I mean, it definitely doesn't sound fun. But does that make it squicky?
For me, it does.
Alright.
Like, there are not a lot of fics, but there are definitely fics out there that are, like, fluffy and or sexual. A character is pregnant and their partner and them are just, like, hetero or other, or gay. And they're just having, like, you know, time together, being loving and stuff, while one of them is pregnant and the other's, like, taking care of them and stuff. And,
Yeah.
like, some of it, sometimes it's sexual and sometimes it's just fluffy. But I'm just not into that.
Gotcha. So you've never wanted to read a fic with, like, a pregnant a pregnant Captain Louis Armstrong.
No.
No, okay. Why not?
I believe I have said.
But, like, you know he'd be a good mom.
Then I'll read the parts after
So you're just
it's
gonna
happened.
You're gonna skip the parts where he's pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have another question. So you can get dude pregnant. You can get Mpreg in these fics.
Uh-huh.
Do they nurse their children?
I don't read them.
Well,
But
okay.
probably.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I think it probably depends on the writer.
So then you're saying that there are definitely Mpreg fics. We just lost 2 people, where the dudes nurse their offspring.
Yeah. Probably.
There you have it. It's someone write that Armstrong fic where his
Ah,
boy, his son,
curse you, Greta.
suckles at his muscular teeth.
The strongest milk.
Yeah, that's just muscle milk. So, I guess we aren't transitioning into Mpreg since you don't actually have that much knowledge of the genre.
Nope.
Alright.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't really tell you a whole lot about some of the squickier kinks because I don't read them.
Right.
And I haven't even accidentally read them because AO3 is often pretty good with their tagging system. Because the tags work in both, like... The tags are really good because people will tag what is, like, fetishes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And not just fetishes, but also, like, plot points and stuff, like if there's angst or character death.
Yeah.
Or something like that. They'll tag it so that people who are browsing for fics will see, like, oh, this has soulmate AU. I love that. I'm gonna check it out. But then if I see another tag that says, oh, it's got daddy kink in it, I'm gonna scroll past that. Not even good. So I'm not probably, unless they forget to tag it, I'm not going to accidentally stumble upon something that squicks me out, which people are pretty good usually with doing.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Oh, I have a comment and then a question. My comment is, Greta, I think you could put mpreg in a story in a meaningful way that's not just a fetish.
Yeah, you can. I just don't like it personally.
Oh, totally. I think, like, it could lend a character who was otherwise not a sort of sense of maybe maternity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that most people who do mpreg probably just are just hot for it. I don't know. I can't really speak to it with any actual knowledge, so...
I mean, a lot of mpreg fics actually aren't just sexual. A lot of them are like, oh, I love these two characters together and they need to have babies. It'd be so cute. Like the same you would with a hetero couple.
It's, like, kind of funny that they have to, like, make them... Do you get pregnant about it, though?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Adoption is a thing that's existed for thousands of years.
Yeah, and, like, a lot of fics do just have them adopt. But
yeah,
a lot of them also, I don't know, want them to have biological children for some reason.
Sure.
I guess it's true in real life, too.
And then, let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey, what is daddy kink?
Like when you call the person daddy and
is that
act
it?
like a brat or act like a little... I mean, I guess I like, again, I don't like it, so I don't really read it very much. But it grosses me out when it's just like, someone's like, oh yeah, call me daddy.
Is that all there is to it?
No, I think there is a little bit like, you know, kind of like, I think it's sort of similar to schoolgirl play, where you act or dress like you're younger. So you act like one character is like...
So daddy kink sort of falls under the super trope of just like age play then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it. Again, I am not super familiar with it because I think it's kind of gross.
What if there's, like, not necessarily any explicit reference to, like, daddy or, like, acting like a little brat? What if it's just, like, a pairing with, like, a pretty big disparity in ages? Like, let's say...
I think that's fine. I mean, again, it depends.
Let's say...
Like, the character shouldn't be too young, but... Oh,
like,
hey, first place.
No, I was thinking of, like, a 20-year-old with, like, a 40-year-old.
Do I think that's the same? Or...
like, is that squicky for you? Or...
A little. I mean, it's kind of the same as, like, real life with age gaps. You know? Like, the older you get, the more okay age gaps are. Like, if it was a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old, that'd be more acceptable than a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old. I mean, like, what's the golden rule? Half your age plus 7?
Is that a golden rule, or is that, like, a thing that someone made up sometime?
Well, yeah, I guess not really a golden... You know what I mean? It's like the rule people know.
It's the rule that people are like, that those numbers apply to my life that isn't based on numbers. But, so, I mean, sure. I don't think that's, like, a hard and fast rule, but
Yeah.
it's an okay guideline.
Yeah. And, like, it's obviously a case-to-case basis. There are people who are, like, older but less mature, and vice versa.
Let's say... But, like, so in general, as long as, like...
For me, as long as it's, like, two consenting adults who are in, you know, their right mind and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Sure.
But, obviously, certain fetishes I don't want to, like, read or look at. think Greta gave you a definition of daddy kink.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that is a little bit squicky, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they acted like a little child.
Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily have to act like little, but probably, you know, younger.
Sure.
I mean, the point is like, kind of like the idea of a sugar daddy, but more sexualized, right?
Yeah, you kind of messed up, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Ow. Rude.
So rude.
What are we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about daddy kink, but I think we're done with that now.
Good.
I'm gonna wait till this race is over. Then I'm gonna pour myself just a little more gin. And then we'll move on to whatever else you got in your bag of tricks.
Oh, okay.
I don't read fanfics.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about any good fanfic sex.
Good job, Greta. We're doing exercises together, I guess. Come on, excite bike. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Greta. Yeah, I honestly don't really practice playing except on Mondays. Takes a bit to warm up. Fuck you, other Link. Isn't going super well.
Doesn't look like it.
No, I missed the box. Dang it. Tried to avoid hitting him. Ah!
Oh boy.
Ah. Even comes it down.
I don't want to walk in front of you while you're gaming.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Not too bad.
All right, what's next? What's our next fanfic trope? What's the next sexy topic?
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of vanilla.
You're spent? You're all out of good shit?
I mean, this might sound like oh, my reputation or something, but I genuinely don't. Like, a lot of the fics I read is for plot, not just for porn.
Oh, sure.
So I don't really go into a lot of the weird shit.
But, like, you do read, I guess, a lot of, like, I don't know.
I mean, like a lot of fics I read does have porn in it.
Yeah.
But
it's just like.
But it's like not.
This is regular style porn.
A lot of it, yeah.
But like you read Slash, which I mean isn't just porn. I mean like there are plot devices too.
Woodrow Wilson fics.
Huh?
CDW says Woodrow Wilson fics.
There you go. Like, so far we've talked about, honestly, for the most part, we've talked about not porn. So you don't have to, I'm not saying come up with more porn topics. Like, we've talked about 2 kinds of AU. You don't have, are there any other AU that you like, that you read a lot of?
I'm probably gonna think of lots of things like while I'm trying to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I should have thought of that. I mean, I really like magic AUs. Oops. Like, fics for fandoms that are, like, you know, Haikyuu or something that's pretty normal and, like, not a fantasy genre. And then it puts them in an AU where they are in, like, sort of a high fantasy setting.
Right.
But I don't know really what to talk about that because it's kind of just, you know, what it says on the box.
Yeah, exactly what it says on the tin, huh?
Yeah.
Are there any, like, maybe fic-specific AUs that you really liked? Like, I know magic AUs is sort of a broader term, but, like, was there one fic with one AU that you really enjoyed?
Oh, well, actually, one of my all-time favorite, it's actually a series. Like, this author did a series of fanfics that it's very long. It's like kind of like a novel series, and it's very well written. It's actually it's Merlin, BBC Merlin.
Hell yeah! But no magic, fucking owned.
It's like a modern day alternate universe. And it does have magic, but it's sort of like magic not considered real and stuff.
Yeah.
And it starts out kind of just, it's like Arthur is a captain for the, I think, SAS, or like the British military, basically. And all the knights are sort of in his team.
Platoon.
Yeah. And Merlin's like the newest member, and he's their tech guy.
Yeah.
Like, but then as like the series goes on, you find out like there are all these. It does a good job of bringing back characters that are in the actual show, and it's not really clear until later if this is like a reincarnation thing or this is just an alternate universe or what. But the plot gets like really in depth with this whole like secret society that's trying to bring magic back, but they're like evil and shit. And Merlin initially has to hide his magic because people like don't believe it exists, and when they do see it, it's just, you know, bad guys, kind of like in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he does reveal that he has magic, and then they start to learn how to like who's good and who's bad, and they have to defeat this sort of, they're not really a cult, they're more of like a anarchist sort of society.
Is the dragon in it?
The dragons are in it, but they're disguised as humans, and they're not in it very much.
I see. Is Gaius in it?
Yes, but not very much.
Does Uther fuck a troll?
I don't think so.
That fucking 0 stars. Oh man.
But it's very good. Highly recommend.
Oh, here's a
The series is called The Loaded March, and the author's username is Footloose.
It's a really weird name for a fucking Merlin fanfic writer.
I mean,
hey,
she doesn't just do Merlin.
Does she do Footloose?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then. Hey, speaking of Footloose, speaking of musicals, hey, are there any Glee fanfics?
Oh yes.
Hey, let's talk about.
Ooh.
Hey, let's jump into Glee. Let's dive headfirst into fucking Glee fanfics real quick.
Boy.
If you don't know, Glee is just a really good television show. It's just really good. There's no problems with it. 6 seasons of pure unadulterated gold.
Yeah.
Just top to bottom, just really excellent.
Yeah.
Tell us about, if you know very much about it, the universe of Glee fanfiction, Chelsea.
I read some fics when I was into Glee when it was airing.
That would have been like about 4, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
To be honest, I don't remember a whole lot about them. I mainly just read plain fics.
Sure. Fix is so good, they're all canon now.
Yeah. I do remember one that I don't know if I'd like it if I read it again, but I liked it at the time because it was like pretty silly, and it was acknowledged as so. It was like written sort of to be so, and it was sort of a ridiculous fusion of. It was a fusion with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah.
Okay.
So the difference between a fusion and a crossover. A crossover is stop it. So a crossover is when wow though. Thanks, guys. I blame you, Greta. A crossover is when two fandoms collide, but they're like the canonical, for the most part, fandoms. So, a crossover between Harry Potter and
Full Metal Alchemist
would be, those do exist, would be
Sure they
where
do.
Edward Elric, through the power of alchemy, opens up a portal a la Shambhala and winds up in the world of Harry Potter and looks for the Sorcerer's Stone.
Allah Shambhala, incidentally, is a very powerful spell in Harry Potter.
Yeah. And meets, like, Harry and Hermione and Ron and blah, blah, blah.
All those other guys.
Yeah, and all those other guys. That's a crossover. A fusion would be an alternate universe where Ed and Al and the characters from Fullmetal Alchemist live in a world similar to Harry Potter, and they go to wizard school, but there may or may not actually be characters from Harry Potter that exist.
Edward Elric can cast spells without a wand. That's his special power.
Yeah. So this fic that I'm talking about was a fusion where the characters of Glee lived in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
What?
Yeah.
Did they still sing songs and do dances? Were they benders?
They
They were all rock and roll benders.
Yeah. Mostly they were benders.
Hmm.
I do remember thinking it was funny that Sue Sylvester was basically the leader of the army of the Fire Nation, and her Cheerios were the Chi Ryus, and they were all her, and they were kind of like Azula and Ty Lee and May,
Yeah.
and it was a silly pick, but
I mean,
it was
Ty Lee
kinda,
is basically already a Cheerio when you think about
Yeah.
it.
it was silly, but there were a few little clever things in it.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about, did this fic have pairings?
Yes.
Let's talk about the pairings in this fic. Do you remember any of the pairings of Avatar The Last Airbender and Glee, Chelsea?
The main pairing was Klain.
Oh, what? Fuck that! No! I want some pairings in between the universes. I want Blaine and Zuko. Zlane.
I told you it's a fusion, not a crossover.
Oh,
I
okay,
just
so...
gave you the lesson of what the difference is.
Well, I assumed that just because it was a fusion doesn't mean that the original characters don't exist.
That is true, but usually they don't, or if they do, they're very minor characters or just mentioned, or
Gotcha.
like sometimes, for instance, in our example with Fullmetal Alchemist and Harry Potter,
Harry Potter ain't gonna be there.
Harry Potter maybe lived like in the past and is considered a legend or something.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what kind of bender was Hot Dad?
I don't remember.
Boring. I bet he was,
I remember that Sam was like traveling. He was kind of like, I'm thinking of the Goron in Skyward Sword, that just sort of traveling scholar type of thing.
so, okay, so
And-
let's just unpack what's wrong with that all at once. Sam and Skull are in the same sentence.
Yeah, well, I'm getting to that. And then he like was interpreting this sort of prophecy thing, and it's the solar winds, which I think was the title of the fic. But he interpreted them as like the wind farts or something. Sounds like something he'd do.
That sounds about right.
I remember there was this really silly scene where Sue would tax everyone with her giant turtle dragon, and its name is Baoza,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the legend
God.
says they have to jump on its head with a sword to defeat it. Yeah. Yeah. Knew you'd like that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, it was quite a while ago that I read it. I don't remember a whole lot. But I remember going in with very low expectations just because of the premise, and being pleasantly surprised by the writing.
Okay.
Like,
Just
I
like
liked it
how
enough.
when I went in watching the series called Glee.
Yeah. I liked it enough to read all that they had written at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if they ever finished it.
Oh, what a shame. Hey, who is the Avatar?
Kurt.
Okay, thank God. If it was Rachel, I was gonna fucking end this stream right now.
Naruto, That's So Raven crossover.
Fuck yeah. How would Naruto get to that so Raven? Would he do a jutsu?
Yeah. It's a lot of trucks.
This is like a good opportunity, though, to think of good crossovers or fusions.
Pretty sure Hogwarts AU is the most common one.
Most common fusion.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
So
it in pretty-
Hogwarts fusion.
It's got pretty much, like, you're almost guaranteed in any fandom that has a decent amount of fan fiction, there's gonna be at least one Hogwarts AU.
Gotcha. So it sounds like some fusions are so prevalent that they like graduate into just being called AUs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, again, it's typically called Hogwarts AU, not Harry Potter AU, mainly
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, the characters in Hogwarts or Hogwarts-like setting.
So you know that there's gotta be some Glee Hogwarts AUs.
Oh, yeah. There for sure is. I know a very popular AU in the Yuri on Ice fandom right now is Hogwarts AU, but it's more of Yuri goes to the Japanese Maho, whatever it's called. And,
Japanese Hogwarts.
Yeah, and Victor goes to Durmstrang, and they meet for the Triwizard Tournament.
Ah. What if, like... what? So is it considered a fusion or an AU if it's, like, just takes place in regular present day? Like...
Well, yeah, like, Merlin is very common with modern AUs.
No. I'm not talking about modern AUs. I'm just saying, like, you know how Yuri on Ice just takes place in modern times?
Yeah.
What if you, like, have Harry Potter, but in Yuri on Us AU? Does that just mean Harry Potter's in modern times?
No, generally you would interpret that if someone says, oh, it's Yuri on Ice AU for Harry Potter. That would mean it's the characters of Harry Potter, but they're ice skaters.
Ah, I gotcha.
And probably don't have magic.
Right.
They might, though. Depends
That
on
seems like cheating.
I actually read a pretty good Yuri on Ice Hogwarts AU where they have this like magic equivalent sport that the author made up.
Yeah. Ice Quidditch.
Yeah. No, it's like ice skating, but they use magic to sort of add to the artistry
Gotcha.
to make like colors and swirls, kind of like the opening,
Right.
or images or whatever that go with their dance. Yeah, there's like not generally a whole lot of set in stone rules in the terminology of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them you kind of just learn to interpret.
Mm-hmm.
Because like sometimes an AU can also be a fusion, but they're not mutually exclusive. But that doesn't necessarily mean one is the other, you know?
Right.
I suppose one trope that we can talk about that is a much hated trope amongst people in fanfiction.
Oh, wow. Why is it a trope?
The Mary Sue.
Oh, yeah. The Mary Sue is just like the perfect little Cinnabon, though, isn't it?
The Mary Sue is typically an original character that is a self-insert character that is, kind of perfect. Oh, hey, Leland's here.
Leland!
I don't know if he's in the chat, but he's playing with us. But yeah, they like are the perfect little character that can do no wrong, and all the characters love them inexplicably, and they always have the solution for everything, and there are no problems ever.
Hell yeah.
And it's just real bad.
Kill Leland. Yeah, that's more or less what I understood it to be.
Yeah, and usually it's like preteens or somebody in their first foray into fanfiction who thinks everyone would love their idea of them in the world of Naruto.
Oh man. Ah, hell yeah. I think, I definitely... So, when I was a very young boy, I didn't write fanfics, but I did join a lot of interactive fiction, like, forums, where you would, like, write stories together.
Like, RPGs?
Yeah. And, definitely most of my characters were Mary Sue's.
Gary Stews.
Yeah, whatever. Does that matter? Do people...
It's the technical term.
That's
If your character is male.
insane. But sure, yeah, a lot of my
never even knew
characters
that was up there.
were Gary Stews, and I think a lot of people didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, looking back on it, sort of remembering the
pretty
posts that
cringy.
would come after mine, I would, like, I can imagine the user, like, just heaving a sigh, knowing that they were now contributing to something written by a 13-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, in like middle school, I had a friend who we would often sort of make up stories together, and her characters were always like that. And I just remember being so annoyed. I'm like, that's not good storytelling. You can't, like, I presented a conflict for us to solve, and you were just like, oh, you need $50? I just happen to have that in my pocket. And it's like,
I just wanted cool stuff to happen, man. My guy had a morning star that could shoot lightning.
yeah.
It was dope. But yeah, nobody likes that shit.
Nah. I think it has died down, but probably mainly because people are so, like, against it. And in a way, I feel kind of bad because it's probably mostly like 12-year-olds just expressing themselves, and it's not really hurting anyone. So, in a way, it's like you shouldn't. If you stumble upon a fic like that, you shouldn't go out of your way to be like, "You suck." But but at the same time, probably maybe I don't know if you want to encourage that.
I love it when people tell children that they suck. I have a fun story from my childhood. When I was really young, like when I was around kindergarten times, me and my parents, and then also like my aunt, all lived in this like little apartment. And my aunt was like a very young adult, and she was like on the dating scene, you know. She like dated a lot of people, and she dated this one guy who like came around our place one time, and we were playing Guess Who. You know what Guess Who is? Yeah,
the little like, do they have a mustache?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he won. And I, honest to God, he didn't. I'm not making this story up. This happened. A grown man did this to a 5-year-old.
Oh.
He like stood up and said, "Yeah, I kicked your ass."
Did she dump him?
Yeah, she dumped him. Needless to say, they're no longer together. But it was pretty insane. As a young kid, I just mostly felt bad that I didn't win.
Yeah.
But like, as an adult,
wow,
it's pretty silly.
Yeah. Ah. I'm coming for you, Greta.
Get him.
Ah, no!
Oh boy.
A mushroom!
That was your key to victory.
Oh, we could talk about ship names.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I thought of that because Victory is the ship name for Yuri and Victor.
That's a really good ship name.
Yeah.
What do they call the ship name for the Victor and the other Yuri?
I don't know. It's not a very popular ship. Man, I was doing so good.
Yeah, you were really crushing it. You kind of got robbed, I think.
So one thing that's kind of interesting is that in more recent years, it's more popular for ship names to be like a portmanteau of like Victor,
celebrity
Yuri.
couples names.
Yeah, Victor, Yuri, Victory. But back in old timey times, in like 90s and early 2000s, I guess, it was more common to do like character X character or character / character. And then some fandoms had like specific names for their ships. The one that comes most to my mind is Yu-Gi-Oh! I once found a list of all their ships.
Yeah.
It was so long, and each one had a unique name.
That's pretty cool. What was Yu-Gi-Oh! And Joey?
I know this. Oh, I can't remember now.
I'm disappointed. What was Joey and Tristan?
I don't know that one either.
Why don't you know any of the ships about the only character in Yu-Gi-Oh! I care about?
Joey?
Joey's the only character I cared about in that show when I was like watching it for real as like a tween.
I remember Yugi and Taya was peach shipping.
Fucking boring.
Kaiba and Joey was puppy shipping.
I don't get that one.
It's because he's always calling Joey a dog.
Oh. Well, that shit blows ass.
Yeah. That was like one of maybe the most popular ship in the fandom. I never liked it.
What a bad fandom. What a stupid fandom with bad ships. It's like the Undertale fandom.
I know Yami Yugi and normal Yugi was puzzle shipping.
That was the best ship name.
Yeah.
Puzzle shipping.
The Millennium Puzzle.
No, I get it. I just think it's a
Yeah.
bad name.
Most of them were.
Like, when they kiss, I imagine that the Zelda puzzle chime plays.
That would make it a better ship.
It would make it a better ship. I think that's the only way it makes it an okay ship. I can't believe you don't remember any of Joey's ships. I'm so mad at you, Chelsea.
I didn't read Joey's fix.
Why? It's the only fix worth reading. Joey had so much heart. The whole fucking show talks about heart of the cards. No one had more heart of the cards than Joey. Were there any Weevil Rex ships?
I'm sure there were.
Hell yeah.
I think Kaiba and Yami Yugi was pride shipping.
The only person
I
I
remember.
ship fucking Kaiba with is just a giant pile of money.
Yeah.
What about, like, Yugi and that one kid with the purple hair, the light purple hair kid?
Light purple hair.
He had, like, very light lavender hair. Maybe it was whitish.
Bakura?
He had a puzzle piece.
Bakura?
Yeah.
I want to say it was something obviously dumb, like Pure or something. Don't remember. It's been like over 10 years.
I'm kind of disappointed. You've kind of disappointed me. You led up to this thing I was very excited to learn about, and so far you've only given me 3 ships, all of which I don't give a fuck about.
Well, I'm sorry if my shipping doesn't overlap with yours.
I'm sorry, are you a big Yami Yugi and Yugi shipper? Are you a big puzzle shipper over here?
No.
You a big Peach shipper?
Meh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, are you a big puppy shipper?
Ew.
So, okay, it sounds like it sounds like all of your shipping might overlap with mine, because you don't ship any of the things you just mentioned.
Those are just the most popular ones I was talking about.
Okay. Well, what other ship names? Because this Yu-Gi-Oh! Well has run very dry. I'm very disappointed.
Well, my ships were dark shipping.
What's dark shipping?
That was Yami Yugi and Yami Bakura.
Why didn't you say that one?
I don't know, I was talking about the most popular ones first, because I remembered the names.
But you remember dark shipping.
Yeah. There was... I think thief shipping was... I didn't ship that one, but that one is popular. It was like... Merrick and Yami Bakura. Cast shipping, which is basically dark shipping, but in ancient Egypt. That was my OTP.
So your favorite ships were just Yami Yugi and Yami Bakura, and Yami Yugi and Yami Bakura, but in past.
Yeah. That was actually what got me into Slash. The first Slash fic I read was cast shipping.
So you read cast shipping, you're like, oh, this is the good shit. This is the dope shit. Hey, I wonder if there are any other ships I can be into. Oh yeah, it's just this ship again, but in a different time.
Like, starting out, I only read, like, fics that weren't romance or were my ships that were hetero, because I didn't really have many gay ships. And then I, like, stumbled upon a really, well, in retrospect, it was probably bad, but I was, like, 11. I read, it was cash shipping, so it was, like, I was, like, super into ancient Egypt and fics about, like, royalty, and it had the, like, aspects of the prince and the thief, and I liked that shit. And I was like, I like this character relationship dynamic. I'm gonna find more of it. And then, you know, once the ball starts rolling, don't stop.
Once the ball starts rolling, you're full on Fujoshi now.
Yeah.
What are some other ship names besides Yu-Gi-Oh?
Besides Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the one that was most prevalent, that had weird names. But I mean, mostly it's portmanteaus.
So it's like pretty much every other fandom is portmanteaus or blank x blank.
Usually.
Well, but there's good portmanteaus. Like Victory's a real good one.
Yeah.
Say another good one. I need good portmanteaus. I'd feed off them.
Let me think. I hate this ship, but the portmanteau for Harry and Hermione is Harmony.
Wait, what's the ship?
Harry and Hermione.
What's it called?
Harmony.
It's really good. Also, I don't know why you don't like that ship. It's a great ship. I mean, like, Sidui, I don't know any ship names from Digimon. I don't think Chelsea even watched Digimon.
Nope.
I go grab my phone, look at Digimon ships. Would that make you happy? I've personally shipped Mega Kabuterimon and Myotismon. I'm gonna get in your way, don't lose.
I lost, it's your fault.
Nerd.
I like Phoenix and Edgeworth's ship name.
Is it called Edgeworth?
No, it's called Rightworth.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I did it too soon.
Ooh, Digimon shipping wars.
Oh sure, now you give me one of those. Again.
Hey, you got a honker.
I had one and I saw the blue shell coming, but I did it too quickly.
I guess I'll look at the original Digimon.
No!
These are just all X ships, unfortunately. They don't have, like, cute names. Yeah, these are just, like, X. Like Joe X Mimi, or Sora X Tai, or Wizardmon X Gatomon. Which is hilarious that they ship the monsters.
Oh yeah, I think Yu-Gi-Oh did that too.
Yu-Gi-Oh ships the monsters?
Some of them.
That's...
The ones that are like humanoid.
Oh, okay.
Like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl.
Okay, though, don't ship like Blue Eyes White Dragon X Karibo. Ooh, let's look at Naruto shipping. It's pretty much Naruto Shippuden. That's what that's about, right? That's what that anime is about, just all the Naruto ships?
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I know what the plot of Naruto is. You piece of shit. You fucking shipping.wikia.com. Alright, here we go. These are like way better ship names. Should we look at... Hey, Chelsea, wait. How like familiar are you actually with Naruto?
Not very.
That's too bad. I wish, like, I don't care if you watch Naruto ever. I wish you were more familiar with it so that these would be more meaningful to you. But these are all portmanteaus. They're not that great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's too bad. Holy fucking Christ.
What?
What the fuck?
What? Oh, why? I just went from 2nd place to 8th place.
Dang, dude, there are a lot of Dragon Ball Z ships, huh?
Oh, yeah.
There's like so many Dragon Ball Z ships, they need like a fucking flow chart about it. Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
I don't think I have any Dragon Ball ships.
Really? You've never thought about it? Besides
I mean,
the canon ones?
I like the canon ones. Other than that...
Hey, did you like how in our playthrough of fucking Ace Attorney, I tried to make Larry Butts sound like Krillin?
Make who?
Larry Butts sound like Krillin?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Well then, fucking never mind about it.
Honestly, to me, it reminded me of Fraser's voice for Larry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Huh.
kind of similar. And now that I think about it, his voice for Larry does kind of sound like Krillin. Like if you crossed over Krillin from DBZA with Morty, that's kind of his voice for Larry.
I guess that's just kind of the vibe Larry gives off.
Yeah.
Why would this fucking shipping wiki just immediately show me Goku X Chi-Chi? That's fucking boring. I'm bored about it. Fuck that. It's a fairly popular ship due to it being canon. Boring. I'm bored. Hey, I'm gonna look at Game of Thrones ships.
Oh boy.
Those guys have good names. Game of Thrones. Thrives. Thrones. Yeah. Bing names. Hell yeah. Nailed it. Got it in one. Oh, are these just ands? These are boring. And also they're just the fucking canon ones. I hate it when it's canon. Oh. These are ships. As in boats. These are just the names of boats. Oops. Oh, I didn't think of that one. Man, what?
Ah, frick.
Come on, give me like... These ships are bad.
What?
Okay, ship number 1. Brianna and Jamie.
Oh yeah, that's popular.
Ship number 2. Gendry and Arya. Jon Snow, Ygritte. Think, why can't these people have creativity? Here's maybe the first one that I think is okay. Sansa and Marjorie.
I like that ship.
That's a good ship because it's not... Because it took just a little bit of imagination to come up with. Oh god. No.
What?
Sandor Clegane and Sansa.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that ship.
Who thought of that? You're fired. No thank you. Damn, Sansa's like in every fucking ship! Sandor Clegane and Sansa. Sansa and Marjorie. Sansa and fucking Tyrion. Sansa and Littlefinger.
Ew, why?
I don't know. Robb Stark and Theon Greyjoy.
What?
Sorry. As soon as I read that ship, I like just a really bad joke popped into my head.
Oh no.
I guess we know who the Omega would be in that relationship. Wink.
Oh dear.
Ramsay Snow and Theon Greyjoy. Jaime Lannister and Sansa Stark. Everyone wants to ship Lannister Stark with somebody. Joffrey Baratheon and Sansa Stark. It's just fucking... come up with other ships. But they didn't give me any cute ship names.
Boo.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's what we gotta do. Because all these fucking fans and shippers don't got even a fucking ounce of creativity in their bones.
Yeah.
They come up with bad ship names. So our service to the fan community, Chelsea, to the fan community, is to come up with better ship names than the ones that exist, Chelsea.
Okay.
So, pick a fandom. Pick one.
Game of Thrones.
Great. I'm already there, so let's slam dunk it. Let's start out with the good one.
Okay.
Sansa Stark, Marjorie Tyrell. They don't have a ship name, it's just an X. Portmanteau it. Come up with a good ship. What is it? Sansory. The portmanteau. But this is just a jumping off point. That's our point of contact. Styrel. Tark. Wolfrose.
Wolfrose would be good, except it could apply to anyone in their families.
Yeah, but like, there's no other fucking Tyrells that anybody cares about. What is gonna? Oh, what is it? Fucking Bran and Olenna? No.
Marge or Sansory.
There you go. The Brides of Joffrey. Oh no.
Greta, what are you doing all the way back here?
Oh, I thought of a good one for Theon and Robb Stark. Heartthrob.
Not bad.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit to the other the other hot content we watched on Sunday. What are some good Rick and Morty ships?
Oh no.
And here's mine. I ship Jerry and Sleepy Gary.
That's kind of canon.
I call it Jergare.
That's a good name. Night King Tyrion? Night Terrors.
How about Night King? Did you say Night Terrors?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. Mr. Poopy Butthole and Shrimply Pibbles.
Ah.
Stupid butthole. Lil shipping. Who wieners? Oh, I got a good one. Like, not a good ship, but a good ship just for its name. Mr. Poopy Butthole and Scroopy Noopers could be Pooper Scooper.
That's a pretty good name.
Crumbopulous Michael and Bird Person. How about Kill Duckbill? Crombopu person. Oh, I've got a really good one, actually. I'm gonna really fucking hit it out of the park.
Okay.
You know how we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
And you didn't know Tristan and Joey's ship?
Uh-huh.
It's just called the Dip Ship.
That's canon now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is mirrored. Great.
Oh, your favorite. You love it. How much longer you on a Mario Kart?
Probably not too much longer.
Okay.
What time is it?
It's like 11:15.
Probably 11:30 then.
Okay.
Any other topics we want to discuss?
I don't know,
The
man.
last 15. Oh, Link, why?
Let's talk about some of the best no TPs.
Oh, okay.
What are your favorite no TPs?
The ones I hate the most?
Yeah, what's your most intense no TPs?
Phoenix Apollo.
Okay. Do you find that one too appalling?
Yeah. It's just
Now-
I see them as very distinctly like father, son, mentor, mentee. So shipping them romantically feels weird to me.
I feel like you described two very different relationships.
I mean, I see them as more, like, initially mentor-mentee and then more like father-son later on.
Mm-hmm.
But either way...
I don't agree with that either way. I think father-son is gross. I think mentor-mentee is not a big deal.
Eh. I guess it depends on the relationship.
Oh, mentor-mentee. Mentor-mentee is the relationship.
Well, I mean, like, some mentors and mentees are practically like father and son or any, like, parental kind of figure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, mentor-mentee, not always, but often means it's sort of like student-teacher age difference thing.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I said not always, but sometimes. Which brings up what we were talking about earlier with the age gaps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, there are times where it doesn't bother me if it's mentor-mentee, but in their case, it feels closer to, like, parental.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
I think, like, honestly, if it weren't for Spirit of Justice, the most recent one,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen it very much as a father-son, because in Apollo Justice, Phoenix does not act like Apollo's dad.
Yeah, well, Dual Destinies he does more too,
Yeah,
but you haven't played that.
right. In Apollo Justice, it's like, it almost feels like Phoenix doesn't even like Apollo sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could say that Phoenix in that game particularly is like Apollo's dad in the fact that he's like
A bad
kind of
Ace Attorney
cruel
dad.
and distant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like needlessly obtuse.
Yeah. Also, there's the added thing, like, even if they didn't have that sort of relationship, his sister is his legal daughter, which makes things a little weird.
His adopted legal daughter.
Yeah, but still.
So what?
It still seems weird to me. Yeah.
You know, Apollo don't know that.
Phoenix does.
Maybe that's why he's not telling Apollo. What else you got? What's another good no TP?
Give me a fandom.
Avatar, The Last Airbender, or The Legend of Korra.
I don't know if I hate, like, there are definitely ships in those fandoms that I don't like, but I don't know about straight up hate.
Yeah.
Like, it disgusts me.
Okay, so then I'm
Like-
just gonna take that as an admission of you're totally fine with, like,
Which one?
Sotara.
Ugh.
Oh, found it.
Is that even a ship?
I don't know. I assume that somebody probably wrote something.
If they did, then I guess that one. Ah. You can probably assume if something has incest, I don't like it.
You know that there's gotta be like Bolin Mako stuff out there.
Oh, you're right. Ugh.
But so outside of like incest, you've got no TPs in Avatar, so like you're not
I mean,
you're not upset about like a Zutara type deal.
like I don't ship it, but I don't. It does. If I see cute fan art, I'm not gonna be like ugh. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Like an OTP is something that you see it and you're just like get it away.
You wretch.
Yeah.
What about like Zang?
Zang?
Yeah, Zuko and Aang.
Oh. No, that doesn't bother me.
What about Zhang?
What?
That's General Zhao and Aang.
Okay, I guess that one's pretty bad.
Right. Well, in addition to incest, I would
Yeah.
assume that pedophilia
Yeah.
is also kind of. Let's see. What about? So there's like no non-incest, non-creep alert pairing in Avatar that you just are like, no, thank you.
Not off the top of my head. What about you?
Well, not me neither. But I never got really that invested into those ships in the first place.
Right. I suppose if we're talking about Avatar, it is known for having one of the stupidest, most epic ship wars.
That's true. What, it's like Aang Katara and Zuko Katara, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the two biggest known ship wars were that one and the one with Ron Hermione versus Harry Hermione.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're on the wrong side of history.
I never got involved in ship wars. It seemed dumb. Which it is. It's like, if someone ships something I don't like, that's fine. They can ship that, as long as it's not like, you know, straight up weird pedophile, creepy shit. Then they should stop. But
You should evaluate your ship.
yeah. But if it's just one that I don't like, then I'm not gonna bother them and be like, hey, your ship sucks. Because what would that accomplish?
You would feel the catharsis of letting them know that their opinions are wrong and bad. I guess no one in the US is playing video games no more, huh? Okay, let's move to a different fandom, because you've no TPs in Avatar world. Do you have any no TPs besides obviously the obvious ones in, let's say, Full Metal Alchemist?
Wow.
Chelsea. It's okay, Chelsea.
It's Rainbow Road. I don't like Hughes and Roy. which is a fairly popular ship.
Okay.
No, it doesn't gross me out or anything. Like, I don't... But I just don't really like it.
Okay, I thought of a really good name for a ship just
What?
now. Hughes and Armstrong
Uh-huh.
should just be called Huge.
Yeah.
What's the name of Ed's teacher?
Izumi Curtis?
Yeah, yeah. And what's the name of her husband?
Sig.
Sig?
Sig Curtis.
Sig Curtis? Another good ship name for like Sig Curtis and Armstrong
Uh-huh.
should just be called Do You Even Lift? Hey, you did it. Oh, you didn't do it anymore.
Oops. Yeah, I don't mind a lot of the ships in Full Metal Alchemist as long as they're, you know, not weird ones
Yeah.
like Elris Est.
Well, right. Well, that was the,
Yeah,
obvious
right.
OTP.
Right.
Hey, but that one has like a name that's not just a portmanteau or a
Yeah,
X. So
that's true.
Points there, I guess.
Okay, one more.
What about Zhao Tucker and Kimby?
They deserve each other.
Yeah. That's the perfect shit. That's my OTP for that series. I have a really good ship for Ava.
Uh-huh.
It's just all the rays.
Would that be self-cessed?
That's a good question. You want to dive into that one? Those are clones, so I think that is like the gross kind of self-cessed.
Yeah. Kaoshin is actually one of the classic yaoi pairings.
Here's one. Here's one I got. Here's a good ship. This is like a crossover ship.
Mm-hmm.
Raven Simone from That's So Raven, and Raven from like DC Comics.
Yeah.
And the ship name is That's So Much More Raven Than I Thought It Could Be.
It's a long ship name.
Yeah, you know.
That's more Raven.
That's way more Raven. You just ship in place Millennium Falcon and the Mos Eisley Canteen. Oh, the ship name for that is Places Han Solo likes to murder stuff is the ship name. I ship it. It's my Star Wars OTP. I'm gonna ship a country. I'm gonna ship some countries.
Let's call it Italia.
I'm gonna ship
Oh, we didn't talk about Italia.
Mexico and Mongolia. You know what that ship is called? Chelsea?
What?
It's called Yo, fuck your wall.
Ow. Rude.
Okay, let's talk about Hetalia. Hey, for those of you who don't know, Hetalia is an anime where there's a bunch of countries that are personified into anime boys and sometimes girls.
It also has an annoying fandom rivaling Undertale.
Chelsea throwing some shade at half of our user base.
We already talked about that.
Okay, well, Hetalia has an annoying fan base. And I guess we'll just have to talk about Hetalia's fan base on the fucking next episode of Master Questers. Fuck! Next episode of Sexy Mario Kart Monday.
Is Ultimate Spider-Woman a female clone of Peter Parker and Peter Parker a gross ship? I guess that's technically self-cessed.
That's kind of so. I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a little weird.
not down with that shit.
Well, we'll continue this conversation or start a new one next week.
We're gonna jump into Hetalia next week.
Oh boy.
We're gonna get real deep into those countries. Hey, if you're watching this, go watch Hetalia. It's on Kiss Anime. You didn't hear it here. I didn't tell you that.
And Crunchyroll if you
Oh
pay
yeah,
for a subscription.
and Crunchyroll. Make sure to type in Crunchyroll / Master Shippers for our free subscription. 1/2 of one day. You can watch all the fucking anime you want.
Bye guys.
Take it easy.